What's up everyone, and welcome back for another video here on my channel. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. If you don't know me, hello, my name is Monet. I am 27 years old, and here on this channel I am documenting my financial journey as a single cash envelope budgeter. So if you are interested in that and want to join my journey, then please do so by hitting the subscribe button and hitting the bell so that you will always be notified whenever I upload my next video. Within today's video, we are going to be doing our annual monthly reset where I am closing out the month, which is going to be September, and we are going to set up for the next month, which will be October. So that is crazy to think about. We are really wrapping up the year. Also, if you cannot tell from my voice, I am sick. So your girl is pushing through trying to make this video. I really was not feeling up to it. It's Saturday, I'm in my house. Literally, guys, still in my pajamas. Like, I just put my robe on and a shirt because I'm just too sick. But I said, let me, start the month off strong and at least do my monthly reset so at least my finances are in order. But apologies if my voice sounds hoarse. Like, I'm annoyed just hearing it. So I'm sorry if it's going to be hard to listen to, but hopefully we can overlook that. But nevertheless, let's sit down and figure out what has happened with our finances for the month of September. All right, everyone, so here we are back with the monthly setup. Once again, this is a template that is available for download. So if you're interested in this layout and you find it enjoyable and something that can help you, I do have them available for digital download. It can be found on my website and in the description box down below. But here we are for the month of September. We're gonna dive right in, and I'm going to filter on our remaining actual and start off with our income for money that I was able to bring in for the month. So in terms of my full-time job for actual, I am salary. So normally whatever I budget is typically what I bring in. So $4,352 is what was brought in. This is after my healthcare, 401k, tithes and taxes, regular deductions. So that is what I was able to work with my 2 paychecks that I received for the month. But a fun thing that we did receive in September was a bonus. So I did receive, if I can spell, so I did receive a bonus check from my full-time job. I knew it was coming. I just wasn't sure what month it was going to hit. So it came in for September, and my bonus was a little bit lower, I guess, than what, everybody expected, but I was just happy for money nevertheless. So that was an extra $1,063 that I was able to bring in for the month. So as a total, I have $5,415 to work with for income. And I will let you know exactly where that money went as I go through my allocations of my actual income. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the bills. In terms of rent, our rent was exactly what we budgeted, the $1,680, that is standard rent for myself. And I did go ahead and split out my rent and my utilities. This is the first month where I decided to do that. So I was budgeting on the high end versus last month because last month it was crazy high. But this month it was $58. So I was happy to see, a decrease from the $70 that I had to pay prior. The reason my utilities were so high is because it was water is included, and the summer months are pretty heavy. So I'm anticipating for the utilities to go down, but the electricity is gonna go up because now it's gonna get colder, and that means I'm gonna start running my heat more. I am a person that just cannot do cold, so the second it gets chilly, I turn on my heat. So I've been trying to hold off. I've been putting on robes and thick socks and everything to prevent it as long as I can, but I know eventually that electricity is gonna skyrocket because I run my heat. All right, so the next bill that we have is for internet. That is a fixed expense, so the $56 that I budgeted is what I put in. And then we have my electricity. I estimated $70. I thought that was high, but clearly it wasn't high enough because my electricity actually came in at $74. So only $4 more, and the utilities was lower, so that kind of like offset it. So that is where the bills for majority of my things went. I do get a regular comment all the time asking in terms of my bills, where is my phone bill? I do not have a phone bill. Graciously and thankfully, my father is still paying for my phone bill. The deal that we have is that if I pay for my phone outright, like right now I have the iPhone 13 and I paid whatever the $1,000 was for the phone itself. So as long as I pay for the phone, he will pay for the service. So that's the trade-off that we got. So I do not have a phone bill, and that's why you guys never see it. But moving on to expenses, let's get into that. First up, we have gas. And gas, I budgeted $80, and $80 is what I gave myself. I am gonna bump gas up a little bit more for October because I don't know if the gas prices are going up, but I'm running low on gas, lower than I normally do. So I'm just gonna bump it up a little bit and see how that goes. For spending, I gave myself $230, and $230 is what I budgeted or actualized to give myself. Groceries was $300, that's the same. Toiletries was $100, clothing was $60, and eating out was $80. So I did give myself the regular amounts. These are the amounts that you guys see me do within my cash stuffings. So for the month, we did well for that. Next, we can move on to savings. First, we have our sinking funds for annual payments. That did get $60. Car maintenance received its $40. Car insurance with $80. Christmas with $40. Gifts, I did up it to $50. I'm trying to get to that $100 for my best friend. So I have one more paycheck that I can do to impact that. So that will be reflective in October. The next thing we have is household. Household, I did give the $30. Medical, I did give $70. Travel, $300. And home fund with $575. So yeah, did exactly what I said I was gonna do for savings. Nothing changed there. And then over here we have investments for my Roth IRA. $384 is what I budgeted, and $384 is what that received. I do have a debt column, but thankfully I am debt free, so I do not have to fill that out. So now that everything has been filled in, we can go ahead and we see that I'm still left with the $1,068. And we know that majority of that $1,068 is because of the bonus. So what I decided to do for my bonus was treat myself for my birthday. I feel like I've been doing very well with my goals for the year. I'm on track. And I've been talking to my cousin, and I've been like, sharing how I was gonna be alone basically for my birthday because I don't live near family and friends and everybody's working. We're at the time where like PTO is getting towards the end, so people are saving it for Christmas. So I was already, thinking I'm just gonna spend my birthday by myself. It is what it is. But my lovely cousin said, no, let's do something. And you know what our go-to is? Our go-to is to go on a cruise. Like my cousin and I, we can do a cruise any day, anytime. So we came across this great deal for a cruise. We wanted to get on one of the new big boats that the cruise line has been, pumping out. We've never been on like a big boat. So that is what she told me we are going to do. And once I realized my bonus was coming, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna cover it with that and see how far it goes. But it was such a good deal that the bonus covered the price for the cruise. It's a 7-day cruise. It covered the price for the airfare, and it covered the price for the 2 excursions that we're going to be doing on the cruise. So I felt like that was such a good deal. I didn't have to spend any additional money. So I'm gonna notate this under birthday, and the entire bonus of $1,063 went towards that. So I'm happy. Some people may say I could have went to savings and, all that stuff, but I felt like I wanted to reward myself, and it's my birthday, so I am going to do that. So after all of that, we are left with $5 that is remaining, and I'm going to go ahead and put that $5 in my rollover. I treat my rollover as a buffer within my checking account, so I just let any money left over sit in there and build up for that. But after all of that, we see we are down to zero, giving us a zero-based budget. So everything has been allocated. If we go ahead and look at our income summary, and we can see the differences. Of course, the main difference is the income for my bonus. That was money that we were not expecting. So that did put my bills higher than what I anticipated because of my birthday. But then the only other difference was my savings. We see that received $10 more than what I budgeted. But overall, for the most part, fairly the same. So now we can go ahead and look at our pie charts, because that's just another thing I like to check out. If we look at the budgeted versus actual, of course, there are some changes. Bills is much higher than what I anticipated for the fact that my birthday money I put in there. Expenses are sitting at 15.7%. We still were able to do a good amount towards our savings at 23%, and then our investments are sitting at 7.1%. So that looks good to me. And then if we look at the savings breakdown pie chart, we see that 46.2% went towards my home fund, which is great to see. That's a high priority that I'm trying to finish strong towards the end of the year, and then travel with 24.1%, and then the rest of my sinking funds get the rest. But overall, that is how I can put a wrap on September. Scrolling down towards the bottom is where we can see my expense breakdown and see exactly what I spent my money on. So for the month of September, the categories that I track for expenses are gas, spending, groceries, toiletries, clothing, and eating out. And if we total up all these things for the month, that was $715 that I spent on that. Looking at the pie charts, we see that spending really holds the most of it, sitting at 40.3%, and then right after that is groceries at 33.7%. Next is gas at 10.5%, eating out with 9.2%, and clothing with 6.3%. All in all, I really didn't do a lot of spending this month, even though it kind of looks like it, but I really didn't, because I was recovering from August where it was pretty heavy. Looking at gas, I went to add gas to my car 3 times this month, and that totaled $75 for that. Within spending, I would say my biggest expense was, this amount, this $120 that I spent at Target. And that was for me getting my bed situation together. If you guys been watching my cash stuffing, this month was a month dedicated to making my bed plush and thick and, perfect for me to sleep on, which is perfect because now that I'm sick, I'm just lying in my bed so comfy and cozy. So that is honestly where majority of the spending went. Groceries was $241. I went to the grocery stores a couple of times throughout the month. Toiletries, I spent none. So that's not surprising, 0 out of there. I did a lot of my toiletry shopping in August. And then clothing we see with $45 and eating out with $66. So again, like I said, not too bad for myself. So looking at over here, what is left to spend, I really focus on this section because this is basically the money that I'm carrying into October, and that's gonna support me until I get my next paycheck. So within gas, we see that I have $23 left. Spending, I have $75 left. Groceries, $169. Toiletries has $100. Clothing has $20, and eating out with $22. Looking good for October. And yeah, I believe that's all we have for the month. So now we can go ahead and set up for October and see what we're gonna do there. All right, so here we are with October. Always love a good new month and new possibilities of what can happen. So starting off, I already have my income source notated here, which is going to be my full-time income. And then I have the categories listed as well. So all we have to do is fill in the amounts. In terms of paychecks for October, I will be getting paid twice. I have one paycheck that's going to be due October 4th, and then my next one will be October 18th. So only 2 paychecks this month. So with that in mind, my budgeted amount should be the standard $4,352 that I normally bring in. So with all of that, let's go ahead and dive in. Looking at the bills, first we have rent, of course. That is not going to change. That's going to be $1,680 per usual. In terms of utilities, I'm going to be hopeful and try and be more in line of what I saw last month. Hopefully it's not too dramatically different. So I'm going to go ahead and say $65. Might be too low, but we'll see at the end of the month. In terms of internet, that's going to be $56. That's always a fixed expense. And then for electricity, since I was a little bit under last month, I'm going to give myself a little bit more and say $80. Like I said, I haven't been really running my heat too much, so I'm hoping it's not too much of a difference from the month before, but I say that every month, and every month is a surprise. So we will come back at rollover and move on to our expenses. For gas, as I said, I'm gonna bump it up, so I'm gonna give myself $90 this month. Spending, I'm also gonna give myself a little bit more than usual. I'm gonna do $245. This is due to the fact I am going to Miami for my best friend's birthday, and I'm trying not to touch my travel sinking fund. Since I'm only gonna be there for like maybe 3 days, I'm gonna try and utilize my spending category and not touch travel, and I'm trying to save travel for November when I'm gonna need it. So I just decided to bump up my spending a little bit. I don't anticipate us spending much in Miami because we're staying with family, and the biggest expense should just be the concert, but the tickets have been paid for. All I'm gonna do is probably pay for some drinks, some food, and maybe some merchandise. And I might like treat my best friend to dinner or something like that. But I think I can cover it all within my spending if I really budget like I should. So next we have groceries. That's going to be $300 that I will budget for that. Toiletries is getting $100. Clothing will get $60, and eating out is $80. Those normally fall in line with what I typically do, but we'll see. Moving on, we have savings. These are going to be the same. So $60 for annual payments, $40 for car maintenance, $80 for my car insurance, $40 for Christmas. I can bring gifts down a little bit, and I can do $30 for the month. Household will also get $30. Medical, we're going to keep that at $0. I do have $540 in my envelope, and that's normally like right around where I like to keep it. Travel, I'm going to give myself $300 to try and save for the month. And then home fund is the usual $575 that I like to save. So we are good with savings there. And then lastly is my investments, and that's going to be towards my Roth IRA. For this, I'm going to bump it up a little bit and give myself $440 that I'm trying to save up for the month. I know we're creeping on April 2025, and I kind of want to get my bearings in order to wrap that up, and then I can save for the next Roth IRA in 2025. But overall, that should be good in terms of the budget and where everything is going. Looking at what we have left over, we got $1. So we're just gonna go ahead and drop that in rollover and feed that into my buffer. So now we are sitting at a $0 budget for the month of October, which is what I like to see. Down here, we can go ahead and look at our income summary. So for income, we're bringing in $4,352. For bills, we're showing $1,882 budgeted. Next up is expenses with $875, savings with $1,155, investments with $440, and then debt at $0, giving us a leftover of $0. Looking at our pie chart, we should be more in line with where we typically should be. So bills are sitting with 43.2%, expenses at 20%, savings with 26.5%, and then investments at 10%. So all in all, I feel like that is a good approach to how I want to start for October. The last thing that I will do down here is fill in my rollover amounts for my expenses for last month so that when I track my spending, all of my numbers are true. So we had $23 in gas, $75 in spending, $169 for groceries, $100 for toiletries, $20 for clothing, and $22 for eating out. But yeah, that is going to be a wrap for October. But overall, you guys, again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I am so tired. Like, I am long-winded. I feel like I did so much talking and I'm just irritated with my voice right now. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up and leave some comments down below. Let me know how your month went. I love to hear any wins that you guys were able to achieve, and let me know what you are looking forward to most for October. And yeah, we can just cheer each other along and stay on this journey together. So with all that, if you aren't subscribed yet, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, join the family. I've been loving the new people that have been joining, so welcome. And that's all I got. So I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna go lay down and probably get some soup, because that will make me feel better and put on a good movie. But until the next time I make a video, you guys, I will see you all next time. Bye.